Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The act of inhaling. The drawing in of air, or other gases, as in breathing. An opening through which fluid is admitted to a tube or container. The process of taking food into the body through the mouth, as by eating. The act of inhaling. The drawing in of air, or other gases, as in breathing. A cherished desire. A manner of articulation involving an audible release of breath. A will to succeed. The act of inhaling. The drawing in of air, or other gases, as in breathing. The act of inhaling. The drawing in of air, or other gases, as in breathing. A medication to be taken by inhaling it. A product of your creative thinking and work. He had little respect for the inspirations of other artists. The act of inhaling. The drawing in of air, or other gases, as in breathing. Theology. A special influence of a divinity on the minds of human beings. Arousing to a particular emotion or action. Arousal of the mind to special unusual activity or creativity. A sudden intuition as part of solving a problem. An opening through which fluid is admitted to a tube or container. An arm off of a larger body of water, often between rocky headlands. Economics. The utilization of economic goods to satisfy needs or in manufacturing. The consumption of energy has increased steadily. The process of taking food into the body through the mouth, as by eating. The act of consuming something. Involving the lungs with progressive wasting of the body. The process of taking food into the body through the mouth, as by eating. The process of taking food into the body through the mouth, as by eating. A process of taking up or using up or consuming. They developed paper napkins with a greater uptake of liquids. A short respite. An indirect suggestion. Not a breath of scandal ever touched her. A slight movement of the air. There wasn't a breath of air in the room. The air that is inhaled and exhaled in respiration. His sour breath offended her. The process of taking in and expelling air during breathing. He took a deep breath and dived into the pool. An open or empty space in or between things. There was a small opening between the trees. A recognized sequence of moves at the beginning of a game of chess. He memorized all the important chess openings. An aperture or hole that opens into a bodily cavity. A possible alternative. An entrance equipped with a hatch, especially a passageway between decks of a ship. The first of a series of actions. The first performance, as of a theatrical production. The opening received good critical reviews. A ceremony accompanying the start of some enterprise. A vacant or unobstructed space that is man-made. They left a small opening for the cat at the bottom of the door. Becoming open or being made open. The opening of his arms was the sign I was waiting for. First or beginning. The memorable opening bars of Beethoven's Fifth. Opportunity especially for employment or promotion. There is an opening in the sales department. The act of opening something. The ray of light revealed his cautious opening of the door. The initial part of the introduction. The opening established the basic theme. An organic process that takes place in the body. Respiratory activity. The state of being active. His sphere of activity. The trait of being active, moving or acting rapidly and energetically. The level of activity declines with age. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. Volcanic activity. Any specific behavior. They avoided all recreational activity. Chemistry, the capacity of a substance to take part in a chemical reaction. Catalytic activity. An organic process that takes place in the body. An organic process that takes place in the body. An organic process that takes place in the body. Strip of feathers. Pull a chicken. A sharp strain on muscles or ligaments. He was sidelined with a hamstring pull. Perform an act, usually with a negative connotation. Pull a bank robbery. Remove, usually with some force or effort, also used in an abstract sense. Pull weeds. Special advantage or influence. The chairman's nephew has a lot of pull. Direct toward itself or oneself by means of some psychological power or physical attributes. The ad pulled in many potential customers. Bring, take, or pull out of a container or from under a cover. Pull out a gun. A slow inhalation, as of tobacco smoke. Take sides with. Align oneself with. Show strong sympathy for. I'm pulling for the underdog. Tear or be torn violently. Pull the cooked chicken into strips. Cause to move in a certain direction by exerting a force upon, either physically or in an abstract sense. A declining dollar pulled down the export figures for the last quarter. The act of pulling. Applying force to move something toward or with you. The pull up the hill had him breathing harder. Cause to move by pulling. Pull a sled. Strain abnormally. I pulled a muscle in my leg when I jumped up. A device used for pulling something. He grabbed the pull and opened the drawer. Apply force so as to cause motion towards the source of the motion. Pull the string gently. A sustained effort. It was a long pull but we made it. Hit in the direction that the player is facing when carrying through the swing. Pull the ball. Move into a certain direction. The car pulls to the right. Operate when rowing a boat. Pull the oars. Rein in to keep from winning a race. Pull a horse. Steer into a certain direction. Pull one's horse to a stand. Take away. Pull the old soup cans from the supermarket shelf. The force used in pulling. The pull of the moon. A short-labored intake of breath with the mouth open. She gave a gasp and fainted. Breathe noisily, as when one is exhausted. Suck in or take air. Blow hard and loudly. He huffed and puffed as he made his way up the mountain. A short light gust of air. To swell or cause to enlarge. Her face puffed up from the drugs. A slow inhalation, as of tobacco smoke. He took a puff on his pipe. A soft spherical object made from fluffy fibers, for applying powder to the skin. Bedding made of 2 layers of cloth filled with stuffing and stitched together. Smoke and exhale strongly. Puff a cigar. Gathered for protruding fullness. Puff sleeves. Forceful exhalation through the nose or mouth. He blew out all the candles with a single puff. Breathe noisily, as when one is exhausted. Praise extravagantly. The critics puffed up this Broadway production. Thick cushion used as a seat. A light inflated pastry or puff shell. Exaggerated praise, as for promotional purposes. Make proud or conceited. The sudden fame puffed her ego. Speak in a blustering or scornful manner. A puffing kind of man. Proceed for an extended period of time. The speech dragged on for 2 hours. To lag or linger behind. But in so many other areas we still are dragging. Suck in or take air. Force into some kind of situation, condition, or course of action. Don't drag me into this business. Draw slowly or heavily. Walk without lifting the feet. A slow inhalation, as of tobacco smoke. He took a drag on his cigarette and expelled the smoke slowly. Search, as the bottom of a body of water, for something valuable or lost. The phenomenon of resistance to motion through a fluid. Clothing that is conventionally worn by the opposite sex, especially women's clothing when worn by a man. He went to the party dressed in drag. Move slowly and as if with great effort. Persuade to come away from something attractive or interesting. He dragged me away from the television set. Pull, as against a resistance. He dragged the big suitcase behind him. Something tedious and boring. Peeling potatoes as a drag. Something that slows or delays progress. Taxation as a drag on the economy. The act of dragging, pulling with force. The drag up the hill exhausted him. Use a computer mouse to move icons on the screen and select commands from a menu. Drag this icon to the lower right-hand corner of the screen. A short labored intake of breath with the mouth open. Usually in the plural, a garment extending from the waist to the knee or ankle, covering each leg separately. Breathe noisily, as when one is exhausted. The runners reached the finish line, panting heavily. The noise made by a short puff of steam, as from an engine. Utter while panting, as if out of breath. Air intake of a carburetor. A pneumatic horn. An inlet with 2 or more couplings to which a hose can be attached so that fire engines can pump water into the sprinkler system of a building. A branch of the Thai languages. An inlet with 2 or more couplings to which a hose can be attached so that fire engines can pump water into the sprinkler system of a building. A slender short-haired blue-eyed breed of cat having a pale coat with dark ears, paws, face and tail tip. Of or relating to the languages of the Thai people. A native or inhabitant of Thailand. Of or relating to Thailand. Of or relating to or characteristic of Thailand or its people. Propose a toast to. Let's drink to the new year. Be fascinated or spellbound by. Pay close attention to. The mother drinks in every word of her son on the stage. Any liquid suitable for drinking. The act of swallowing. He took a drink of his beer and smacked his lips. The act of drinking alcoholic beverages to excess. Drink was his downfall. Consume alcohol. We were up drinking all night. Drink excessive amounts of alcohol. Be an alcoholic. The husband drinks and beats his wife. Take in liquids. The patient must drink several liters each day. Any large deep body of water. He jumped into the drink and had to be rescued. A single serving of a beverage. I asked for a hot drink. The act of swallowing. Give suck to. The wet nurse suckled the infant. Provide sexual gratification through oral stimulation. The act of sucking. Take in, also metaphorically. Be inadequate or objectionable. This sucks. Attract by using an inexorable force, inducement, etc. The current boom in the economy sucked many workers in from abroad. Draw into the mouth by creating a practical vacuum in the mouth. Suck the poison from the place where the snake bit. Draw something in by or as if by a vacuum. Mud was sucking at her feet. The act of sucking. The act of sucking. A force over an area produced by a pressure difference. Empty or clean, a body cavity, by the force of suction. Suction the uterus in an abortion. Remove or draw away by the force of suction. The doctors had to suction the water from the patient's lungs. The act of swallowing. One swallow of the liquid was enough. Tolerate or accommodate oneself to. I swallowed the insult. Enclose or envelop completely, as if by swallowing. The huge waves swallowed the small boat and it sank shortly thereafter. Take back what one has said. He swallowed his words. Pass through the esophagus as part of eating or drinking. A small amount of liquid food. Believe or accept without questioning or challenge. Am I supposed to swallow that story? Engulf and destroy. The Nazis swallowed the Baltic countries. Keep from expressing. I swallowed my anger and kept quiet. Small long-winged songbird noted for swift graceful flight and the regularity of its migrations. Utter indistinctly. She swallowed the last words of her speech. The act of consuming food. The act of consuming food. The act of supplying food and nourishment.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.